890 houses could be built next to Coat Water. Plans were lodged with the council on Christmas Eve. A 21-day consultation to the revised plans opened yesterday. The council will decide in the next few months. Joining me now is Councillor Peter Greenhalgh from Swindon Borough Council. Good morning, Councillor.
Good morning, Graham.
Are you in favour of the current development plans?
I think it's the best proposal that's been received so far.
In August 2009, when the original proposal was dismissed on appeal by the Secretary of State, you said, "This decision is great news.
Yeah.
We were determined to fight this proposal as hard as we could, and I'm very pleased that the Minister has agreed with our position."
Mm-hmm.
You also said that it would be disastrous for Coat.
Yeah.
Do you still think that?
I think that the planning submission that I was referring to would have been disastrous for Coat.
So you can understand how people thought you were against any development on that piece of land.
I can understand that the way the media is reporting this is confusing.
Well, we're only reporting what you're saying. I mean, that's what you said. Since you made those comments, which to some people sounded like you were opposed to a housing development near Coat Water, the new homes bonus scheme's been announced by the government. Swindon Borough Council will get thousands of pounds every year for the next 6 years for every new home built. Has that had any influence on this?
None whatsoever.
52,000 people signed a petition to protect a kilometre of countryside around Coat Water. What have you got to say to those 52,000 people?
I think it's excellent that people take an interest in their local area, and I would fully support anyone who wishes to challenge any application that is submitted.
Do you think that the current proposal should go through?
I think the current proposal is the best proposal that has been submitted for the area around the hospital site, and it's up to the planning committee to determine whether or not this application should succeed.
So you think 890 homes should be built next to Coat Water?
That isn't what I said, Graham.
What are you saying?
I think this is the best proposal that has been submitted for this area.
OK, thank you very much for talking to me this morning.
Thank you.
Councillor Peter Greenhalgh, who's always interesting to talk to. The BBC's defended its decision to show a man dying on a programme about assisted suicide. Choosing to Die showed Wiltshire-based Sir Terry Pratchett investigating the options for ending his life. Dr. Peter Saunders is a campaign director of Care Not Killing. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Was the BBC right to show it last night, then?
Well, I don't think they were. I think it was grossly irresponsible of them to show it. I think what we saw was a very misleading and unbalanced piece of propaganda where a patron of the Voluntary Euthanasia Society, now rebranded Dignity in Dying, was effectively given an international platform to produce a very one-sided account on this vexing issue. Surely
this has promoted debate, though. I mean, you're on. I bet this isn't the only radio station you're on this morning, and you wouldn't be given that opportunity without this show being on.
It's a very important debate. We've been having it for many years, and I agree it's an issue that our society is wrestling with at the moment. Of course we should talk about it, but the question you asked me was what I thought of the BBC's portrayal.
I asked whether they were right to show it, and yes, you said no.
Yeah, and I said no because I think there are very real dangers. There are very clear international guidelines on the media portrayal of suicide.
Are you against the assisted suicide of someone who's terminally ill?
I'm very much concerned about the effect of programmes like this on vulnerable and impressionable people.
Do you think somebody who's in great pain, distress, terminally ill, and wants to end their life should be allowed to?
That's not the question. The question
is... It's the question I'm asking you, and that's the one I'd like an answer to.
Well, as a doctor who's looked after hundreds, if not thousands, of dying patients, and who's been in the position of seeing many people die and suffering from symptoms, I'd say no. The number of requests that you get for euthanasia when you look after people properly, attending not just to their physical needs but to their social and psychological and spiritual needs as well, is very, very small. We're talking about a very, very small number of people. And the people last night, if anyone saw the programme, they weren't suffering from pain or discomfort.
So if they were
their
suffering
lives have
from
lost
pain or discomfort,
meaning.
you'd be okay with it then?
No, if a patient says to me, and I've had 2 patients in my entire practicing lifetime say to me, you know, I really feel like ending it all, like dying, just 2. And for both of them, we asked, well, what's the problem that's leading you to this conclusion? And they told us, and in both cases it was pain. We treated the pain, the request went. And actually requests to die from terminally ill people are extremely rare.
You mentioned spirituality. You're also the CEO of the Christian Medical Fellowship. Has this got more to do with you imposing your religious beliefs on people than dealing with dignity and death?
No, I don't think it has. Spirituality concerns questions of meaning and purpose, and these 2 men had clearly lost meaning and purpose in their lives, but Care Not Killing is an alliance of about 50 organisations. There are disability rights groups, there are professional groups, there are human rights groups, there are faith groups, of course, as well. We've got to remember that the law on assisted suicide has not changed, not from the reactions of people who are coming from a faith perspective, but an overwhelming majority of Parliament, all the 5 major disability rights groups, all the major medical professional groups are opposed to a change in the law. And to characterise this as a religious issue is really quite misleading. Obviously, I'm a Christian and I have Christian convictions about the value of life. And that obviously informs my personal position to some degree. But it's largely a debate about public safety.
Dr. Peter Saunders, sadly, we're out of time. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Can you tell the difference between Swindon and Delhi? I've been out with photos. So we're in Swindon Town Centre. What's your name?
Mary.
Where are you from, Mary?
Cricklade.
Okay, well, I've got some photographs to show you. Now, these photographs are either of building work in Swindon Town Centre or the unfinished athletes' village at the Delhi Commonwealth Games. Do you think you'd be able to tell the difference?
Should be able to.
Okay,
yes.
Well, let's try. Let's see. So here's photograph number 1. Is that Swindon or Delhi?
That's Swindon.
Where do you know where it is?
That's down the bottom there.
It's actually over there. It's the college building. Here comes photograph number 2. Now, as you can see, you can just describe what you can see in the photo there.
Unfinished pavements, cars, rubble, pipes, and I think that's Swindon.
You think that's Swindon? You're
Yes.
right again. You're right again. Well, you're good at this game. Okay, let's try this one. What do you got in that one, and what do you think it is?
A wall that looks as though it's not completed. Now that could be Delhi.
No, that's Swindon as well. Hi there, what's your name?
Philip.
Philip, where are you from?
Old Town in Swindon.
From Old Town? Yeah, and you've come down to New Town. What do you think of the town centre and all the work that's going on here?
This is a terrible mess, isn't it, at the moment?
You think so?
Yes.
Okay, I've got some pictures here, and they're either of the incomplete athletes' village in Delhi or Swindon Town Centre.
Yes.
All you have to do is guess which pictures are Delhi and which are Swindon.
I see, yes.
Ready to play?
Yes, indeed.
Here we go. Here comes the first one. Where's that?
I can't think of Swindon. I can't think of anywhere it could be.
So you're going to go with...
Delhi.
You're going to go with Delhi. That is Swindon. That's the actual old college building just up the corner.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, so it is.
Okay, not off to a very good start, but no, it's still early yet. Let's see this picture. Just explain to me what you can see in the picture first.
Oh, lots of, it looks as if it's this pathway in the middle here, but going down the middle of Swindon's New Town. That's Swindon.
You're going to say Swindon? That one is Swindon, yes. You can tell the difference between that one and Delhi. Okay, let me try you with this one. What can you see in that one?
Well, I think that's Delhi, because I think it's like the picture I saw on television the other day.
It's actually Swindon Town Centre. It's the new building they're trying to build up there. Hello there. What's your name?
Prakash.
Prakash, where are you from?
India.
India. You're from India. Yeah. Brilliant. You're the first person from India. And what are you doing in Swindon?
Swindon, I'm working.
You're working? What do you do?
Royal Mail.
So you're postie?
Yeah.
Okay. This picture here, is that Delhi or Swindon?
Swindon.
Okay, let's try you with this one. Is that
clean? The work is fast. There is no fast work. That's a problem. The Commonwealth. Yeah.
So, is that one Delhi or Swindon?
I think Delhi. No, Swindon.
Oh, you nearly went with Delhi. You say it was Swindon.
Swindon.
It is Swindon. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Let's try this one here. This one here. Is that Delhi or Swindon? What do you got in the picture there first?
I think Delhi.
You got a wall there, some scaffolding?
Yes, Delhi.
You're going to go with Delhi?
Delhi.
Certain?
Yeah, sure.
That's Swindon.
Swindon?
It's just down the road there. It's the VHS building. David Cameron was pledging to sort out the dispute over whether prisoners should be given the vote after MPs came out firmly against the idea. Chris Bath is from Swindon and is the Director of Projects at Unlock, the National Association of Reformed Offenders. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Why should prisoners get the vote?
Well, there's a few different areas. One is the legal one, where the UK is currently breaking the law under the European Court of Human Rights.
All of the prisoners broke the law.
That's correct, and we don't like them breaking the law, which is why we sent them to prison. And that's why breaking the law is a bad thing, and that's why the fact that we're breaking the law now is an argument against what we're doing currently. Secondly is the moral side of it is, yes, you go to prison, you lose your liberty, but you don't actually lose your citizenship, and there's a whole range of other rights that you also don't lose. And if we were ever in a situation where prisoners lost all their rights, we'd have a very, very dangerous circumstance indeed.
The prisoners' victims lost plenty of rights. Some of them even lost their lives.
Well, of course, they didn't lose their rights. They were offended against.
The ones who died did. The ones that were murdered did.
Well,
they lost everything.
Which is why we send people to prison. Yes, that's correct. So that's why we send people to prison.
I'm just confused. You think that it's important to protect the rights of the prisoners. What about the rights of the victims and their families? Are they not as important as the rights of the prisoners? And why is the right to vote such a big deal?
Victims' rights are absolutely crucially important, and what we want to do is see fewer victims. In fact, what we want to see is no more victims.
And how will giving the prisoners the vote do that?
Because if you spend time in prisons, if you talk to people in prison, you start to realise that actually, in the most part, these are people at the very margins of society who aren't integrated, who aren't part of our society, and the things we want them to do, like get a job, get a house, have a stable relationship, etc., that's all about being included in society. And the vote is absolutely an indication of here's your place in society.
So if you give the prisoners the vote, you'll reduce the chance of them reoffending?
It's one element in a very broad set of issues.
Have you got any evidence to back that up?
My evidence is talking to people in prison about their lives, their experiences, and how important it is to them.
In other countries in Europe where the prisoners get the vote, has it reduced reoffending?
That's an excellent question. I would be making it up if I gave you an answer to that, because I haven't looked at that.
Well, maybe you should have a look at that and give me a call back. Thanks for that. That's Chris Bath. He's from Unlock, the National Association of Reformed Offenders.